Hi, I'm Lee. Welcome back to the channel. Good to see you. Today we're going to be working with vacation photos that you might take with your cell phone. And the one thing I want you to keep in mind is that vacation photos are a little different than the snapshots you might take with your cell phone, around the house or, in the neighborhood, that sort of thing. In that, if you're going to vacation somewhere, you probably may not go back there again. So you want to take some really good shots that you can preserve, print, maybe use as screensavers on your computer after you get back home. So you need to keep that in mind when you're taking the shot. For instance, here's my screensaver of a shot I took several years ago of a lighthouse here in San Francisco Bay. Here's another one in the sandhills of Nebraska. That's actually from a 35 millimeter slide. Again, another 35 millimeter slide of a waterfall in Quebec that I took many, many years ago. Another waterfall in Massachusetts, and actually a friend of mine took this one in Utah. But anyway, you get the idea. And notice they're all in landscape mode. So today, I'm going to show you what we got here, and I'm going to open this up. Whoops, there we go. All right, this is a shot a friend of mine sent me just this morning, actually, or yesterday morning, really. And in it, let me move it over here to the center just a little bit. There we go. Now I can see it better. She's currently on a Caribbean cruise, and this was pulling out of Dominica, the island of Dominica, I presume, this past evening. Anyhow, beautiful shot in one respect, but it's problematic in that, it's got a few problems. Let me show you what I ended up doing with it, by the way. There we go. I ended up changing it to this. And notice, with this one, you got a nice landscape, because after all, it is a landscape. And so we did that. And the other problem we have with this picture is, where are you supposed to look? It's almost confusing. I mean, you got this very dark sky here. Clearly a rain shower just passed over the island. You got a lot of water here in the foreground. You got some mountains here. You got the town. And when you take a picture, the main thing you want to think about is, what is it that you saw that you want your viewer to see? Okay? See what I'm saying there? You need to kind of draw attention to that. And let's just go ahead, and I'm going to take those two down. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to open this up in Luminar AI now directly. And normally you can use it as a plug-in to Photoshop, but unfortunately the plug-in for Photoshop leaves out one critical tool which we want to employ, and that is composition. So let's, first of all, the other thing is image size. Let's open that up in Photoshop real quick, and we will take a look. And if we go up here to image size, it will tell us that the screenshot that we have here is 72 dpi, and if we were to print it out, it would be 45 by 34 inches. Well, that's kind of ridiculous, number one. Number two, you would never want to print at 72 dpi because you'd end up with a pretty muddy image. You always want to print at 300 or higher. So let's go ahead and change this resolution to 300 dpi. And I'll just hit enter. Is that going to make it go away? Yeah, I was afraid it was going to make it go away, but let's just bring it back anyhow. So here we go. We got our 300 dpi, and that'll print us out a nice 8 by 10 picture on a good laser printer, or I suppose if you have an inkjet printer, that too. Okay, so we'll just hit save there, quit, and we're going to go and open this picture up in Luminar AI, where we're going to get down and dirty. And remember, whatever you see me doing here, if I can do it, you can do it too. All right, it's pretty easy. And in this case, I mean, Luminar AI is like, I think, going for $49 right now. Whereas Photoshop, you have to lease it, a monthly fee or a yearly fee. I pay $600 a year for Photoshop and all of its programs. That's not just Photoshop, but all the Adobe products. I think if you had Photoshop alone, it would probably be anywhere from $35 to $50 a month. All right, so that said, let's face it, Luminar AI, you can do a lot of stuff in it, and in the long run, if you don't own Photoshop, you don't really need it. You can do it all right here in Luminar. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to kill the enhance, and we're going to go to composition right here. And there's our original composition. And you'll notice the first thing it does is it brings up the rule of thirds, which was an Ansel Adams, I believe, is the one that came up with this in photography, so that it shows composes your image in thirds, both vertically and horizontally. And what I want to do is I'm going to go right here and change the ratio from original to 16:9. And it's going to do it that way because it's a vertical picture, but if I just click here, rotate the crop, and there's what we really want. Okay, so now, obviously we're going to throw all of this away, we're going to throw all that away, but let's get it positioned a little better, shall we? So I just click here, hold, drag, and we'll bring it down. I'm going to put it right about like that, so that we have the wall there just below the thirds line and the peaks of the mountains just above. We got some water here, some sky there, and I kind of like that. So we're going to go with that. And just hit the enter key, and there we go. So we're off to a roaring start here. So let's see. First thing we're going to do is we're going to go into enhance, and we'll try a little accent. We'll bring that up. There we go, and you can see it's giving it some nice luminance there. And it's sharpening things up a bit too. We don't want to overdo it, but we'll just do a little bit there. Let's try the sky enhancer, see if that brings out any more detail in the sky. There, we can make the sky just a little darker. I kind of like that. I really do like that. So, all right, we got there. Let's go to light. So, let's, first thing we want to do is add a little contrast. So let's try some smart contrast. And, oh, yeah, that's bringing things up nice. I like that. I do not like what's happening here. So we're going to bring down the highlights a bit. And by doing that, we get a richer sky. And let's bring up the shadows somewhat. Let's see what that'll do. Okay, kind of getting there. I'm not happy with the temperature because it's getting too reddish orange in here. So let's play with that. And I'm just going to click here and try to cool it off just a little bit. So water, there we go. There we go. And you just kind of do it to taste. It's real nice with Luminar because you use these sliders and you just slide them back and forth. Much easier approach than with Photoshop. So there we go. I kind of like that. I still wish the highlights weren't quite so bright, but we'll deal with that elsewhere. So we got that. Let's go into structure. Let's see if that does anything. Let's pull that up a little. Oh, yeah, and that started to tone down those lower colors, too, in the town. Boost that a little. I like what it's doing to the water. It's really getting some sharp edges in the water. That's kind of good. Okay. As for the color, we'll bring that up. Let's see, we'll play with vibrance just a little. We're getting the vibrance back a little. Remove color cast. Let's see what that'll do. Ooh. Yeah, kind of liking that. I'm going to go down here to landscape, and I want to enhance the foliage here. Get this a little bit greener, so let's see what that'll do. Not a whole lot, and you just take it easy here. And let's try dehaze. Let's see what that does. Yeah, we're getting a sharper image already. I kind of like what that's doing. Okay, what else can we do? Let's go down here to super contrast. Oh, no, color. Let's go back to color. And we're going to go down here and we're going to go to saturation. Let's pull down the oranges. And I'm looking particularly at the town here. Let's just drag those back a bit. And we'll maybe drag back the reds a little bit too. Oh, too much. There we go. Just a little bit. There we go. And now I think we've got some rather acceptable, let's add a little super contrast here. All right, so try highlights contrast first. So click off here and we will, there we go. And notice it's giving a little more reddish in the water here, and I like that. I really do like that, and we'll play with the balance a little bit. Because, yeah, I don't want it too sharp in the water, but I kind of like that. There we go. Okay, and I like what it's also doing with the sky. Let's go to midtones. We'll play with that. That should be working on our mountains a little, and also the darker blue clouds. I like that. Okay, and we'll play with the balance on that. We can have it dark or we can have it light. I kind of, yeah, and the other thing is, I think on the highlights we've gotten a little too much here, so. Yeah, it's adding that orange color in again. Yeah, we can always go back and do, all right, let's play with shadows. And let's play with the balance on that. And right about there. Okay, I'm still not happy with this. So I'm going to go back to color. And this time I'm going to work on luminance. So change this from saturation to luminance. And we're going to take the orange down and the yellow. Well, let's go with the yellow first. Unfortunately, it seems to be affecting the greens more than the yellows. Okay, let's get the oranges. There we go. All right. There we go, overall. And I think we've done a pretty nice job there. What do you think, huh? At this point, we can just go to export. And we'll give it a name, save to disk, and we'll give it a name, and we will call that Dominica Sunset. And since I already saved one out before, we'll call it Dominica Sunset 2. There we go, and we'll hit save. And there it is, and we'll quit Luminar AI. And where did it end up here? Dominica Sunset 2. Okay, so let's bring these up. All right, so there's our original image, and here's our finished image. And you tell me which one you like better and which one you'd like to show your friends. Okay? All right. And like I said, remember, if I can do it, you can do it. So don't be afraid. Get in there. If you don't already have Luminar AI, go ahead and get it. Luminar Neo is also coming out, and that'll do even more. That should be out later this month. That's, I think, right now for selling for $79, but you can check that out. All right, that'll do it for today. Thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.